over 10,000 that have jumped in to the Zwift Racing League across so many different teams. This is week in and week out, some of the largest racing that we have. And now you've also announced on top of that, you guys are helping to manage the World Championship qualifiers.
Yeah, we've got an element of the continental qualifiers that we're dealing with. That's the open qualifiers. That's the one that's open to the entire Zwift community. The only kind of eligibility requirement, so you need to be an A rider, as is understood. That's an FTP above 4 watts per kilo in the world of Zwift. So we'll be running those over 2 weekends, starting in about a month's time. And the people that qualify from that, your finishing position doesn't matter. The people that qualify from that will then go on to the full qualification, which will essentially be against Premier Division riders. And the winners there then go on to the UCI World Championships eSport in February.
So if you are looking to get involved in the World Championships, you can do so by jumping into those races later in. It's all happening in November. Head on over to WTRL.racing. That announcement just went out. It's over on the Facebook groups as well. If you are looking to get involved, you can essentially it's to check who the A riders are, whether or not you are an A rider in those first initial qualifiers, pre-qualifiers, and then the actual qualifiers. They're going to have broadcast across all of them over on Zwift Live. 5 different broadcasts for each of the regions. All the information is over on WTRL.racing. You want to get involved, and as you can see, Moving Passio wearing the World Champion kit. What better time to have a little conversation about how you can get involved in racing the World Championships, as she's about to roll across the line and show us how it's done in the Zwift Racing League. Pretty awesome to see, Martin. Pretty cool to see the World Champion showing up in the community, Martin, right? And racing amongst them and bringing this team of hers up through the community racing.
Oh, definitely. And it wasn't that long ago. I'm pretty sure I was watching Mormon Passio on the TV at the Olympics as well. So yeah, it's awesome to see. Obviously, there's lots of Olympians, world champions, Grand Tour riders, rowers, athletes, you name it, you'll find them somewhere on Zwift at some point. They all seem to be here, which is brilliant to see.
Absolutely awesome to see. Really cool and honored to have them here. Courtney's going to give a little kick here, though, with that arrow power up. Moving Passio coming on through for second from behind her teammate. These are for the minor placings here. Right to the line. NZ Bro, Betty Squad, NZ Bro, it looks like, is the one that's going to be making it happen. So that is the race. We're going to jump right on over. We'll jump in with the results here in just a moment, but the women's next race just about to take off, 4:35, as you can see. So we'll be jumping in with the West here. But this is the conversation in the men's race. As they make their way around course now, they're halfway up their final climb, as you can see here, Campos as well as Almeida, and they are trying to make their moves. And this is what Athletic, I think, was on about with trying to maybe reserve for these moments. They're trying, or perhaps they're on the back foot a little bit here. That may be what's actually going on, because they have not collected a whole lot of points and maybe struggling on the day to grab points out here today. We're thinking about the standings. They're currently the leaders out here, but if you look at the situation, they are not the leaders even closely with the points out here. With Campos only, there were 25 points. Applewhite there coming in from the back pedal team at 76 has got better points than all of Athletic combined here at this point. Go there from WLC stacking the top 10 with Muehlner's as well as Cope, and then it's going to be Co. I mean, this is a very dangerous moment for Athletic. They've got so many bodies up here, but they have not been able to capitalize on getting them involved in the race at the front here. Pushing on 6.7. Now it is on, though, between Chain Gang, now keeping the pace high enough. WLC as well. And Emblard here now at this point is, here at this point is just following the wheels, not wanting to close it down to his teammates here. Stempel there as well. I mean, they're kind of in this tough spot Because now if they do make any attacks to go across, riders are going to start jumping across to them. Can they just make the race hard enough that they can stack the front end of these final intermediates is going to be the question, or they're going to be giving up that top spot, currently sitting at 40 points total for Athletic. It is for the men's side of things and these standings. Is Gran Fondo Team BE, though, even involved? I didn't see them very much in those sprint preems. Wahoo Loco, I think, on the day have the most to gain, it looks like, amongst all of the riders out here right now. As Wahoo Loco, as you can see in those standings, sitting in a solid first place, I think, at this point. Gran Fondo also there with that 46 and that 13 there for Bayan, but they're going to need a lot more points on the board to win on the day. I think Wahoo Loco really set up nicely to win on the day, and if we do look at the standings, they are going to jump up a little bit. Athletic have really secured a solid spot, though, at the top. With where they're going to finish on the day, though, I'm not sure that maybe 15, 14, they might not be in the top 5 with where things are standing at this point. So they're going to have to really bump things up. 11 seconds off the front. I'm not sure that this is going to hold on to it to the line either. They're keeping them within striking distance. Now, we did see Moulin Pasio as well as Courtney Webb off the front. They gained almost 20 seconds, maybe a little more than that, as they made their way over the top, and then they were able to hold on to just over 10 seconds, I think it was, across the line. So even amongst the ladies, things came back very quickly on that downhill section. They're going to need a lot more than 13 seconds with the way that this pack is going to come flying up on the sprint section, and then the second sprint section onto the downhill. Athletic still have a lot of work cut out for them at this point in order to try and hold on to that top spot. Again, a top 5 still available for them, but they need some points on the back end of this race right now in this men's mixed central race. We've still got plenty of racing to go here for the women's. We've also got the men's west coming up, race after race after race. In just a moment, you're most likely going to see the warning here coming on up for 15 minutes to go for the next men's race. The women are about to get out on course here. 36 seconds to start for the West. And this has got some of the strongest in it amongst them here. We're talking socks for Watts out here today amongst the women on this Mercury Islands Flatland Loop. 20 seconds to go. Jimmer Sargent, Jennis Despas, Rachel Elliott is out here. Rhea Mobbs, that Socks for Watts team is ready to go. Aeonian with their community team out there with Kristen Yax, Ellie Sykes. We're seeing Andrea and Heinrich. Be on the watch out for them and the rest of their team. BBB is out here as well. Draft. I Race Like a Girl with Annie Poland, most likely streaming live at this point. Make sure to go check out Clickbait Racing over on Twitch. They've been absolutely killing it. Caleb Carley and Annie Poland there. One of our main Twitch community streamers actually as of recently. So I Race Like a Girl's got Liz Shoup, Lenny Ramsey, Kate Ligler, Annie Poland. As Tamara Juliet. It's going to be No Pins R3Rs out there. Ralpha RCC. Rose Beast Motor showing up here in this A category. The list goes on and on. Wahoo Lacole. This is absolutely stacked. Really exciting racing taking off here amongst the ladies. We'll let them finish out their first few kilometers as they get out on course because the men are just about to hit the peak point of their climb with these 2 off the front, and they've kept it within 13 seconds now at this point. And I'm loving what I just saw here from Amblard. He was holding the rest of the pack up at 3 watts per kilogram on the front. Now Stempo now kicks to 6. Is he going to back off? Yes, trying to slow them down as you can see. May not be working out. And they just continue to just soft pedal at the front. The best thing that they could possibly do is just go ahead and try and slow this down. VCRT says, no, we're heading to the front. Keep it fast. 27 miles per hour, 29 miles per hour here now at the top here. Campus now and the rest trying to hold this off. This is going to be everything for the win. They've almost got 15 seconds. They've really got to punch this through, though. I have a feeling it's going to come down to 5. And if it does come down to 5 seconds after this sprint, they will not be holding on. Hamlet now, 9.2. This is a lot of points, though, for first across the line. This is solid going 1-2. For Athletic. This is going to put them back in the conversation for this points race out here today. Here comes GFTB, though, from Belgium on the attack to try and take down that 3rd place. They go 1-2 now for Almeida and Campusstrasse now. Van Lytham, though, here. Huge gap. No one's going to even come close to touching him. Hamlet's going to hold on. No, backpedal perhaps coming on through. Always with that solid kick he seems to have across the line. Now the question is, will they hold on to these seconds? Down to 6, down to 7. The roll through, are they going to call him right on down? Ramahu's now here. What is going on? Looking to go across, perhaps. 13 watts per kilogram coming from this rider. Absolutely flying at 38. Looking to try and break this. This is not going to stick, though. These riders are going to come rolling right up on them. Campstrasse now. These, interesting enough, it looks like they've maybe given up the ghost here at this point. Said enough is enough. They know that this is just not enough landscape to work with. Ramajo now looking to go across, but that's just not going to be in his favor. 185 beats per minute here coming from the athletic team. They did grab the points across that intermediate sprint. The question is, what are they going to do across the line? It's España now. This may actually get picked up on sticky. I mean, that 130, 140, I mean, kind of all over the place on the RPM. So we're going to most likely see something. And he might not even hold on, actually, with the reality of the way this pack is going to come flying on through. Athletic, though, on the front, set up really well for their other riders here. After taking those intermediate sprints, actually, this may be a solid section for or finish for them, actually, because they go 1-2 across that intermediate. Will they go 1-2 here across the final? The timing's going to be all about that bridge sprint. The rider there from Zia España now thinking that he could get away. It's just not going to happen. Backpedal has had a pretty solid go at all this. Hamlet, though, going really early, not going to be able to make this happen. Backpedal's got 18 watts per kilogram, it looks like. Going to try and hold on. He's going to maybe do it. VCRT just pulls it off. VCRT followed by Van Lytham. Where is Athletic? Havoc was there. He's going to settle for 4th or 5th across the line. So no go, it looks like, here for Athletic across that final finish line. I think we're going to have a little bit of a change up, actually, in the overall standings because of the reality of those sprints on the day. Let's go ahead and jump back in with the ladies. We'll look at the results here in just a moment for that men's race. The women for the Central just finished up. We'll take a look at their results in just a second as these ladies for West get out on course. We just did watch Central as well for the men's. So both of those results tables we'll be bringing up for you in just a second as they do get resolved. Women's Central. It was Courtney Webb. Finishing in 55 minutes with a solid 4.5 watts per kilogram. I mean, absolutely flying out there today. And that gives you a good idea of this is going to give you a great idea of the talent level that Roca Corba is showing up with out here. It's absolutely really impressive. We talk about riders who are coming in from Olympic and World Championship levels. As we do take a look here at this. It's going to be Courtney Webb at the top there. Beating out her teammate as they rolled into the line together, though. 4.5 watt per kilogram average there for Courtney Webb. Followed up by Ashley Movement-Passio 1 second back. Danielle Truon, though, for that NZ Bro there for Aragorn. Solid. Betty squad there. 2 riders who were completely solo, actually, throughout the race there. Nice job to them. It's the Fast Bergland there coming on through. In for 5th. Jules Casse with Roca Cobra and a British flag right across the name there for some reason. Amanda Argue there for Coalition Synergy. It's going to Louise Rundquist, Agata Fliss, and then Maria Thompson. Ali Cameron there. I think that's going to be for 11th across the line. So that was the situation there for the top 11. Now in the B category there, ZRG R Rob. Is that going to be R Bob? RBO8, excuse me, coming on through. Let's go ahead. We're going to jump back in with the racing there with the women. They're about to hit their first sprint point, and we'll take a look at the rest of the results there for the men's race that we just watched. As we do not want to miss a single one of these action points, and this is some of the best that we can out there amongst the women. This EMEA. I mean, Lou Bates, R3R, no pins. I mean, this is as good as it gets. She was a part of the Premier Division in the past here, and now on the attack for R3R, no pins. Now across, though, comes Vanderblas. Going to hold on just ahead of Arthur from WLC. Bates settling for third. I think we've got a conversation out here, everybody. It's going to be R3R and WLC on the day going head to head. Aeonian looking to stay involved, though, as well. Where are socks for Watts is going to be my question. Aeonian now coming, as it looks like Sammy Stewart's going to hang on to try and make this lead group. Rose Beast Mode not even involved at all in that first sprint, but again, only the first sprint on the day. Now a little bit of an arrow power up. Is that going to be a counterattack here coming from the cryogen rider? Hayes now 4.0 watts per kilogram here. Langham now trying to cover. It looks like Socks for Watts there with Rachel Elliott saying, this is my moment to shine. Knowing maybe perhaps that the sprints do not matter for her. It's going to be cryogen Stelvio and Rachel Elliott on the front, on the attack. Some of the best racing I think we're going to see all day long coming out of this Women's West, as Elliott heads immediately to the front and says, this is how this is done. Old school racing out on Zwift, and it just continues on at 5.0, completely splintering the pack. I just saw a name out there, though. Maud LaRue is in the house today, riding for Wahoo Lacole, the rider who has really been the steam engine of their team time trial. So, Maud here sitting in about mid-pack here. Rachel Elliott may have a little bit more challenge out here today to break this pack, but she's still making it hard. It is strung out at this point. They thought they were going to just grab back onto the wheel and then find a rhythm, but no, she is not allowing any rhythm or melody to the pedal strokes at this point as she continues on her rhythm. And it looks like it's nothing but discord behind, though. And Bates gets back on. Now Cryogen coming over the top. Elliott now backs off to 3.1 and allows another rider to take over at 37 kilometers per hour. Solid racing so far as we can see amongst these ladies, and they are not backing off. So awesome to see, as always. 5 minutes to the start of the Men's West Division 1 as well. The racing just doesn't stop, and we've got a stacked field there with WLC, TBR, SGAB is in there, Veritas is in there as well, Electric Spirit Co., MTC Gritters. This is going to be a stacked field in the West, so we'll definitely be jumping in with them in just a moment. And back-to-back racing. We barely even able to get into the results as well, everybody. We'll jump back on in for what we just saw in the men's racing in just a moment. It's going to be super interesting to see how that played out, as well as, the question there with Athletic is one that I really do want answered, because it looked like they put a lot of work in to try and salvage something at the end of the day. But I'm not sure that they were able to do so in that central race. So just look to see if we can bring up these results here for that men's central Div 1 EMEA. And as the ladies make their way around on course here, Rachel just continues. I have a feeling this is going to be Rachel's forte, or at least her go-to today, is just to make it as hard as she possibly can on this uphill. The kind of athlete she is, I think, as well as where she's at in her racing career at this point, it's going to just be all about that engine that she has to just completely demolish this pack as best as she possibly can, while the rest of Sox Watts sit in and follow wheels and just watch her put the work in and make sure that the rest of the pack is absolutely suffering. So as they do make their way up to the top of this climb, this is the situation. It does look like we've got about probably 40 some riders that have made this front group. A pretty significant split at the back at this point because of those initial attacks over the top of the climb. We did see, it looked like Vanderplas here, who was apart from the No Pins R3R riders, who I believe did take the fastest through segment. We'll take a look at those points, but their job is done. 15, 16 seconds at this point. They're absolutely gone, as Rose Beast Mode with Wagner and Herring just look to hang on to the pace that's being set by Sox Watts at the front. Back in, though, with the results, this is what happened in the men's racing. It was at the front. Tony Applegate able to take that down. 10th of a second ahead of the VCRT Dobermans. And it is going to be Philip Van Leith there for the Grand Fondo Team BE and Thomas Bain there for Grand Fondo Team. That's a solid result for them because they were in the standings sitting, I believe, in second place. the last time I checked. So, yeah, they were in second place. We'll see if we can get an update on the standings here as they did come through, because Athletic, only with Sebastian Havitt there in that top 7, sitting in seventh place. Hamlet there, Wahoo Lacole was in 6th. Mike Debney, Thomas Bayan also for that Grand Fondo. And 8th place is going to be Alexandra Dar Ko. They're coming on through. And he was actually in there for some of the top points before across the line. So good to see. And then Wahoo Lacole with Fred Richards in for 9th. These final points across that last finish line, though, maybe switching things up a little bit. I think Wahoo Lacole were able to get enough in this top 10, though, to most likely secure the day ahead of any of these other teams, as Athletic are nowhere to be seen besides Havat. Now, they did grab a couple of those points, though, across the final finish, the final intermediate sprints, so perhaps that was able to salvage something for them, as we were saying. So that's the situation in with these A's for the men. Let's jump back in with the ladies racing, though, as they make their way around for their first time out on the climb out on course here, as we're in with the TFC Vixen team. 4 watts per kilogram here coming from M. Gore. Sole rider, though, for Vixen that has made this league group. Going to be a tough day for Vixen to grab on as far as grabbing the points out here. I am seeing a very well-represented Rose Beast mode, and perhaps they were just kind of following wheels a little bit for the early sprints, not looking to get too involved, allowing No Pins R3R and Sox for Watts to kind of show their cards a little bit more, as I do know Rose Beast mode, a very well-oiled machine when it comes to racing out on Zwift. Rich Elliott continues to do what H. Elliott does. And then Gore now with a little bit of a feather power up as they make their way over the top of the final little ascents of this climb. Heading through the forest now. You'll be able to see the village off in the distance in the mini map here in just a moment. But Rachel Elliott says enough is enough. We're not going to be sprinting for these intermediate points. 7 watts per kilogram real quickly here, 49 kilometers per hour. She does get the gap out to 12. It continues to go out by the meters. It's always a nice sign to see at the bottom of the screen as you watch the meters rise quickly. If they do not rise quickly, a lot of times it can get a little bit frustrating. 7 watts per kilogram again, 41 kilometers per hour. Bates now to the front, trying to make sure this doesn't get out too far, but Lou Bates is most definitely one of the sprinters, though, for that team. The cover here now coming from Stelvio, not wanting to let Elliott get too far away. And as you can see, the lead out here is going to most likely be for Krogager and the rest of LaRue there from Wahoo Lacole. Here come. Who is Shuit riding for here? This is going to be C2I Race Like a Girl team now with Ligler looking to set up. Rich Elliott is going to be caught. It may have put a little bit of sting in the legs for some of the other teams, though. Maud LaRue now. Here comes LaRue for WLC, 6.3 watts per kilogram. She's more of an FTP rider, though, as Bates now, 8.1. She put in a lot of work to get in this position, though. Langham there, they're coming from WLC over the top. Arthur also, big watts from these ladies here. Arthur takes it like it's nothing. It's going to be Chrome rounding out the top 3. Arthur, Langham, then Rose Beast mode. Our No Pins R3R. Bates settles for 4th, it looked like, across the line. So that's the situation with the really well placed tactical riders. Maud LaRue now comes over the top at 444 watts per kilogram, making sure that the speeds are high enough to really cause a split. Very well done here. This is an amazing tactical ride here from WLC. I want to know who the DS is in their ears, because they just made that sprint as fast as they possibly could. Maud hung on with the rest of WLC, knew exactly what was going to happen there, and she came through with a solid FTP, even VO2 effort quickly there to keep the speed up. She may have even used a power up. Immediately opens up another gap to the rest of the crew here. And we've got some of the biggest names